Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Leadership for the Now. My name is Florin Lungu, and I'm so delighted to be with you today. And today, I'm joined by a wonderful friend and a wonderful guest, Roz Lind. Welcome, Roz.
Thank you, Florin. Thank you.
Thank you for making the time to be on the show. And for someone that doesn't know you, and maybe this is the first time that hears your name and sees you, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do.
I will. Thank you, Florin. First of all, thank you so much for letting me be a part of your show, and thank you for the introduction. I've been working for 18 years with leadership and organization and education. I have a master's degree in pedagogical leadership, working for 5 years with organizational development, team development, currently as deputy principal, as a consultant, and advisor as coach.
Wow.
So I'm working in a fantastic organization where I get to exercise leadership and see people's personal journey and development of the organization and different teams. It's a wonderful mix of questions that I come across every day. Not one day is the same as the next. And I learn every day.
I can imagine, and definitely, you are in the education system, right? You are, deputy principal for a school in Gothenburg, and definitely you form and you train the next generation of leaders, right? And you're not
Yes.
only a leader yourself, and you work with your team, but also you are involved in the training of our future leaders. So, where does this passion for education and developing people come from?
Well, Florin, it actually started early. I was interested in a lot as a child, and I wanted to tell everybody about my knowledge. But later, I slipped into science, and I got a degree in genetics and pedagogy and leadership. So to be a teacher requires an interest in people and interest in leading and motivating. That's the way it was. And now I love coaching and leading my employees. When you have experience of leading people, you understand how important it is with relation and get to know your employees indeed to help support and develop them.
Absolutely, yeah. So you cannot be a good leader without being, interested in people, and much of leadership and leadership development, has to do with education. So you kind of have both of them in your work, but also you're working with leaders. So then you probably have a perspective that other do not have, and I definitely don't have, and other guests do not have. So from what you have seen, the leaders that you have worked with, and then from your work, what would be some of the challenges that leaders face today?
Well, Florin, there are, of course, many different challenges. The world is constantly evolving. We get to learn more about our brains, diseases, as well as technology that can help us. And while we have generations of people who grow up and grown up during different time periods and who work in the same workplace, it is an interesting diversity, of course. Their views are different and on education and on work and etc. We value different things in life, including work. But the challenges are different, as I said. Of course, it depends on the type of organization you work in. In some organization, you need to act quickly and be agile. For example, in the IT industry, where technology development takes place at a rapid pace. In school, you also have to keep up with the external analysis, but it's still about being able to read, write, count, develop a critical thinking attitude, and learn to acquire a knowledge. At the same time, educate democratic citizens. Florin, we have no idea what jobs will be available in 20 years from now. A study from the Foundation for Strategic Research, released in 2014, I think, shows that half of all jobs today will be automated in 2 decades. And I was in Dubai in February at Expo 2020, where all the countries of the world presented their solutions to the issue of sustainable development and new energy solutions and sustainable agriculture.
Mhm.
I was completely impressed by how creative we humans are and how eager we are to find new solutions. It really was an experience. That is what we are will face in the future. I don't know
Wow.
if you have heard about Magnus Lindqvist. He is a trend scout, futurologist,
Mhm.
and you can listen to him on YouTube. He is really good to listen to. He talks about trends and challenges of the future. Very interesting. I think he wrote the book "Everything We Know Is Wrong." Um,
Okay, that's challenging thought.
that's challenging, definitely. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So everything we know it's wrong. Hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
That's a
I
good
think I'm gonna struggle a little bit with accepting that because I want to be right.
well, we all want to be right, but probably we're not.
Right. So you mentioned like being agile, being able to listen to the outside. For example, in the education field, I can imagine that you have close contact with the industry and say, hey, what are the jobs of tomorrow, right? What do we need? Like what kind of competencies and skills do we need to equip our youth with so they succeed tomorrow? So I can definitely see how that is one of the challenges that we face as a leader, even in organization where we work with adults. We still need to equip our people for the challenges of tomorrow, and those challenges develop and evolve. So thank you for sharing that, and I'm definitely going to check the book because at least the title is challenging, and I like to be challenged. So then tell us what would be some opportunities that you see leaders have if they take now development seriously, if they take leadership seriously, and they value their people. What would be some opportunities that they have now?
Well, human capital is important, Florin. Although much will be automated in the future, we will still be dependent on people and need to manage people in different ways. Perhaps human contact will be even more important in the future with all artificial intelligence we are trying to replace humans with right now. If you take leadership seriously, you will also succeed with the company's success. Of course, I see that in my business, where 50% of my employees have stayed in the school for like between 20 to 40 years.
Wow.
And this means that there is an opportunity for development and creativity, of course.
Wow. So I think you're absolutely right. The more we, because today we have a lot of technology around us and we say we're connected, but I think, as you say, human connection, human interaction will become even more important when it's very easy for us to, now we are on this show, uh, calling in from different places, and technology makes this possible, but
Yeah,
technology will not replace the human connection. So what you're saying is that leaders that are able to focus on the human capital, on valuing and creating the human connection, and what you said, offering growth opportunity to their
yeah,
employees, right? They will
definitely.
succeed in today's world.
Yes, definitely.
Nice. So okay, now we discuss the challenges, we look at some opportunities. Now if you would be sitting with a leader that watches us, and they're actually getting, okay, Roz, Florin, I get it. Now what can I do? Give me some tips. So I got you. I need to focus on people. Give me some tips. What would be some of the tips that you would give them?
It's difficult to give some tips, Florin, because it's difficult. All organizations are different, and there's also the culture. But I believe in the people who want to develop, and they will influence. And there is at that time coaching is important, because no leaders knows everything. You must surround yourself with competent people, a good base simply. Then you can coach and motivate people to bring out the best in them. It's not easy all the time, because sometimes you must motivate them to other jobs they can be better at, and not stay in school all the time. But if I have to give 3 tips, I'll say take care of your staff. Of course, be empathetic, because you have to have a great and big heart. We all are humans. A good communication is definitely important, and have a clear vision. Where do you want to be, and what do you want to work with?
Right.
Hmm?
So your top three things: being an empathic leader and taking care of your people, right?
Yeah,
Have a clear communication with your people so they know exactly. So there is no room for interpretation, and also make sure
exactly.
that you share the vision so people understand where are we going as an organization, right?
Definitely. Right.
Absolutely. And I can see how that really it's the theme of many of the conversation I have with leaders, because that's where many times the challenges lies when maybe a leader does not understand fully the perspective of the employee, because they don't have enough empathy to really empathize with the person and kind of put themselves in the other person's shoes. And I see how that will definitely help leaders. Communication, I think we all know that it's communication, or the verbal communication, it's only 7% of the communication. The rest is body language. And many
Exactly.
times, leaders say, well, I said that to them, but they're
Mm.
still not getting it, right? So something must be wrong, right? And it's it's not easy for us as leaders to take responsibility for that. Maybe you heard this before, but one of the very challenging thoughts about communication is that communication is always in the responsibility of the communicator. Right? In other
Exactly.
words,
For
right,
sure.
as leaders, when we communicate with our team, we cannot say that they don't get it. Well,
Yeah.
I might not communicate it the way they should. I should, so they get it, but it, they're not the problem.
So right. Exactly.
Yeah, and definitely vision. I can also see how one of the challenges that I see when I work with leaders is that sometimes we're not that good at connecting the company vision with the person's kind of personal goals. Like if someone has, if Rose has a goal to
Mm.
develop, in her career, for example, if I'm not linking and say, hey, if we as organization we are able to achieve this vision, you also are going to be able to get what you want. And that's where
Exactly.
actually we talk about a vision, but we're not connecting it to the person's goals, and that's sometimes a disconnect.
For sure. For sure. You have to know your employees very well.
Yeah, and absolutely. So okay, great. So this is really valuable, and I can see how this will help leaders. So if you're watching, um, empathy, uh, caring of for your employees, connection, communication, and connecting with your people, and casting vision. So now, tell us what is coming up in your life. Like, what are you looking forward to this summer or after the summer? What are you working on or towards? Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, this summer, well, I hope I get some relaxation and get some energy flowing, because I need that. It will be a new start in my life. Lots of stuff happening right now. I look forward to my new projects in 2022, with individual and organizational management, and coaching as a consultant. I have graduated now with the coaching, but will be certified as coach soon according to ICF,
Hmm.
International Coaching Federation.
Wow.
Um, and that will be very excited. I'm excited for that, of course. And I'm a curious person looking forward to new challenges. Love to network, as you know, and meet new pupils. And of course, I'm looking forward to summer activities. Lots of sun, I hope.
Nice. Wow. So you're gonna bring kind of your expertise, right? That what you learn up until now, and also share that and coach individual leaders, right?
Yes,
And right. Okay. Nice. So you're almost graduated from your ICF certification,
almost. I'm
right?
looking forward to that. That will
So
be
if
really
people,
great.
wow. So if people want to, learn more about you and what you do, are you on LinkedIn, or where can they find you? Where are you
I'm,
more active?
I'm on LinkedIn, definitely. So they can contact me from there.
Right on.
That would be good.
Perfect. So we usually have a couple of more personal questions at the end of this interview. So one of them is you know like from your experience, what was the best leadership advice you ever got, and from who was that, and how did that help you?
Hmm. Well, I have been very privileged, Florin. I met many skilled and talented leaders who have influenced me in different ways. So I do have many role models, most through their empathy and understanding of humans, but also for their commitment to our children and their education and our future. But some of those things I'll have with me is that you must be able to lead yourself and know what you stand for, your values, before you can lead others. And also be a good listener and be responsive.
Wow. So putting self leadership first, like, and be a good listener, and I can see how that, yeah, really good advice. I can see how that could help someone in their career. So the last question that we usually ask our guests, everyone we have on the show, is what does leadership for the now means to you?
Wow. Well, how I define leadership, it's really a complex art. I don't know if you have been heard about Robert B. and Janet V. Denhardt, who
Mhm.
wrote The Dance of Leadership. It's an art of leading in business, government, and society. They mean that the most successful leaders know that leadership is an art, not science, and they recognize that beyond all the sophisticated systems and theories, the strategies and tactics, leadership is ultimately about intangible things such as timing, intuition, and of course, lots of passion for the work.
Wow.
Um, and of course, it is also about motivating and engaging people towards the same goal, inspiring and influence.
Wow. So leadership is more an art than a science.
Definitely, for me, anyway.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show, Rose. It's been a pleasure having you, and I hope our listeners and viewers got some value from our conversation. And I look forward to catch up with you after that.
Thank you very much, Florin. Thank you for having me.
All right. It's been my
Wish you
pleasure.
the
And
best.
yes, thank you. And for everyone watching, I look forward to see you next week with another wonderful guest. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.